Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the hidden treasures hiding inside your pocket change. If you love coin collecting, history, or just want to know if that old penny sitting in your drawer could be worth a fortune, then you're in the right place. First up, the 1957 D. Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most recognized coins from the classic wheat cent series, minted in Denver in massive numbers. Even though this penny is very common, collectors and coin lovers still search for special varieties or errors that can increase its value. Most 1957 D wheat pennies are made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the front and the famous wheat ears design on the back. The small letter D below the date shows that it was struck at the Denver Mint. Billions of these coins were made, so in normal condition, they are not rare. However, condition, color, and mint errors can make a big difference in how much it's worth. When it comes to a 1957 D penny in full damage or heavily damaged condition, it's important to understand how collectors define damage. A damaged coin usually shows deep scratches, dents, corrosion, rust marks, discoloration, or bending. Sometimes the coin looks like it was run over, burned, or scratched so badly that parts of the design are hard to see. This type of damage almost always happens after the coin leaves the mint, which means it is considered post-mint damage, and not a mint error. Post-mint damage removes most of the collector's value from the coin, because collectors want coins that show their original surfaces and designs clearly. Even if the coin is old, heavy damage usually brings the value down to face value, just 1 cent. There are some situations where a 1957 D penny can still have a little more value, but those cases are rare. If a coin has an actual mint error, such as a doubled die, a lamination flaw, or a wrong planchet strike, it can still be collectible. For example, if the coin shows doubling on the date or the word Liberty, or if part of the metal layer peeled during minting, that may count as a true mint error. In that case, even if the coin has surface wear or marks, collectors might pay anywhere from a few dollars up to hundreds, depending on the error's clarity and rarity. But most of the time, damage that happens after the coin has been used in circulation is just normal wear and tear, and it does not make the coin valuable. In today's market, as of 2025, a 1957 D wheat penny in full damage condition is worth only about 1 cent. Slightly better examples that are just worn, but not completely damaged, might sell for 2 to 5 cents each. Coins that are in fine or very fine condition, showing most of the design details, can bring 10 to 25 cents. Uncirculated coins, which still have their mint luster and no signs of circulation, can sell from $1 to $2 in average mint state condition. Bright red examples graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC in MS66 or higher can sometimes bring prices between $50 and a few $100s, but those are extremely rare and not related to damaged coins. A damaged coin can't be graded by these services, so it holds no premium value in the collector's market. Many people find old wheat pennies and think they might have a hidden treasure, but it's important to be realistic. A coin that is scratched, bent, corroded, or burned has lost its numismatic value. Collectors pay for rarity, preservation, and originality. If you find a damaged 1957 D, it's still an interesting historical piece and a fun find, but not something to sell for big money. Some hobbyists keep such coins for educational collections or for kids who are learning about coin collecting, because they show what can happen to a coin over many decades of circulation. If you have a 1957 D penny that looks damaged but also shows something unusual, like doubling, missing letters, or odd metal texture, it could be worth taking a closer look. Use a magnifying glass or take clear photos and compare them with known mint error examples online. If it truly looks like a minting mistake and not damage, you can share pictures on coin forums or ask a reputable coin dealer for advice. But if it just looks corroded, scratched, or bent, it's best to keep it as a collector's curiosity or spend it. Never try to clean or polish a coin to make it look better, because cleaning destroys any remaining collector value. Next up, the 1934 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny is one of the classic early-century coins that still captures the interest of collectors today. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why there's no mint mark under the date. It's made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, and it features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front with the words, "In God we trust liberty," and the year 1934. The back of the coin carries the traditional wheat ears design with 1 cent, United States of America, and E pluribus, unum. This design was used from 1909 to 1958 and remains one of the most popular among collectors because of its historical charm and simple beauty. The year 1934 was part of the Great Depression era, a time when the U.S. Mint produced fewer coins than usual in the earlier years, but production picked up slightly in the mid-1930s. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 219 million wheat pennies in 1934, making this coin fairly common overall. However, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value. A coin in extra fine, XF condition shows only light wear on the highest points of Lincoln's hair and cheek, and the wheat lines on the reverse are still mostly sharp and visible. This makes it more attractive than heavily worn examples that have lost most of their detail. Because this 1934 penny has no mint mark, we know it comes from Philadelphia. Coins from that mint generally have the largest mintages, so they tend to be less rare than those from Denver or San Francisco in certain years. Still, collectors appreciate them in high grades because they show the craftsmanship of early Lincoln cents and the rich red or brown patina that forms over time. Now, when it comes to value in today's market, 2025, prices depend on the coin's condition and appearance. In heavily circulated condition, most 1934 pennies are worth between 0.05 and 0.20. In extra fine condition, like the one you described, the value increases slightly because the coin retains much of its detail. Today, an extra fine 1934 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark can sell for around 0.25 to 1 $2, depending on eye appeal and overall surface preservation. Some collectors might pay a little more for a coin with a nice even brown color and minimal corrosion. You mentioned there are some scratches on the coin, and that's important to consider. Light surface scratches are quite common, especially on coins that have been in circulation for almost a century. If the scratches are small and don't distract too much from the main design, they will only slightly reduce the value. But if the scratches are deep or noticeable across Lincoln's face or the wheat ears, the value might drop closer to the lower end of the range, around 0.15 to 0.30. Collectors generally prefer coins with clean, natural surfaces, so damage, cleaning marks, or corrosion always lower desirability. Higher grades can fetch more impressive prices. An uncirculated 1934 wheat penny with full red color can bring anywhere from $5 to $15, while certified red gems in MS-65 or MS-66 condition can reach $50 to $200 in auctions. These are the kinds of coins that look nearly flawless, with full luster and no signs of wear. But for circulated examples, even in extra fine condition, the value remains modest because of how many were minted and how many still exist today. It's worth noting that some collectors still look for unique varieties from 1934, like minor die cracks, doubled dies, or repunched dates. While no major, famous era varieties are known for the 1934 Philadelphia cent, interesting minor minting anomalies can sometimes add a small premium. If you suspect your coin might have any unusual doubling or striking error, it can be worth checking with a magnifying glass or posting clear photos on a coin forum for feedback. Next up, the 1952 D. Abraham Lincoln wheat penny is another classic piece of American coinage that continues to attract collectors, especially those who appreciate mid-century copper coins. This penny was struck at the Denver Mint, indicated by the small D mint mark located just below the year on the front of the coin. Like all wheat pennies, it features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the famous wheat ears reverse, symbolizing prosperity and the nation's agricultural strength. The 1952 D penny was produced in very large numbers, with over 746 million coins minted that year, making it one of the more common dates in the wheat cent series. The coin you described is in fine condition, which means it has moderate wear from circulation. In this condition, most of Lincoln's hair details and facial features are visible, but show clear signs of smoothing. The lettering and date are readable, and the wheat ears on the back are worn but still outlined. Fine condition coins are considered mid-grade circulated pieces, better than heavily worn examples, but still showing the marks of everyday use. You also mentioned that your coin has a black color shade, which is an interesting detail. This dark or blackish tone is usually the result of environmental exposure over decades. It can come from oxidation, dirt, or storage in humid conditions. While some collectors find this dark patina appealing as it shows the coin's age, others may view it as discoloration that reduces eye appeal. In general, a black-toned or dark brown 1952 D wheat penny does not hold a premium unless the toning is even and naturally aged. Artificial or uneven dark spots caused by corrosion or cleaning can reduce the coin's value. In today's coin market, 2025, a 1952 D Lincoln wheat penny in fine condition typically sells for around 10 to 25 cents. This price range can vary slightly depending on the coin's overall look and how strong the details remain. Because you mentioned there are some scratches that would likely push the value toward the lower end of that range. Small scratches are common in circulated copper coins, especially older ones, but deep or heavy marks can lower collector interest. If the scratches are light surface marks that don't distract much from Lincoln's portrait or the date, they won't hurt the value too severely. However, if they are deep or across major design areas, the coin may only be worth a few cents above face value. It's important to remember that most of the 1952 D pennies were made for everyday use, so only coins that remain in uncirculated condition or have special characteristics bring significant premiums. Uncirculated or mint-state examples of the 1952 D can sell for $100 to $300 in lower mint-state grades, and up to $200 or more in bright red. High-grade examples certified by professional grading companies such as PCGS or NGC. Exceptional pieces graded MS66 or higher with strong red luster can sometimes sell for over $100 at auctions. But those are rare, pristine examples that have been preserved perfectly since the year of minting. Your coin, being circulated with scratches and dark toning, holds mainly its collectible and historical value. It's a great example of a coin that has traveled through many hands over more than 70 years. While its monetary value is modest, it still represents a meaningful part of American coinage history. The 1952 D wheat penny comes from the final years of the wheat design before the transition to the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1959, which makes it interesting for anyone collecting by decade or mint mark. If you ever decide to clean the coin, be very careful. But generally, cleaning is not recommended. Cleaning copper coins almost always lowers their collector value because it changes the natural surface and removes the patina that took decades to form. The blackish tone, even if dark, is part of the coin's originality and helps confirm it has not been altered. Leaving it as it is will preserve its authenticity and character. There are a few minor die varieties known for the 1952 D, such as slight repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the D appears doubled or shows extra outlines. These can add small premiums if visible even on circulated coins. You can use a magnifying glass or macro phone lens to check for this detail. If your coin shows a clear doubled mint mark, it might be worth a little more, maybe around $2 to $5, even in fine condition. Next up, the 1942 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny is a wonderful piece of mid-20th century American coinage that continues to attract collectors because of its age, design, and the historical period it represents. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, as shown by the small D mint mark just below the date on the obverse side. Like all wheat pennies, it features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the two wheat ears design on the back, surrounding the words 1 cent, United States of America, and E pluribus unum. These coins were minted during the early years of World War II, a time when the United States was about to enter the war effort, making every coin from this era a small piece of history. The 1942 wheat penny was made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the standard bronze composition used for Lincoln cents before the wartime steel pennies of 1943. The Denver Mint produced about 206 million coins in 1942, which means it's not a rare issue, but it still holds solid collector interest because of its age and connection to wartime America. Your coin is described as being in very fine condition, which is a relatively good circulated grade. In this condition, moderate wear is visible, but most of the key design details are still clear. On the obverse, Lincoln's cheek and jaw show some flattening, but his facial outline and much of the hair remain defined. On the reverse, the wheat ears are visibly worn, but still display most of their inner lines, and the lettering is sharp and readable. This balance of wear and detail makes very fine condition, attractive to casual collectors who enjoy older coins that are still visually appealing without being too expensive. You also mentioned that the coin has some scratches, and that is quite common for a circulated copper coin that has been around for over 80 years. Light scratches are normal signs of circulation, but deep or heavy scratches can lower the coin's eye appeal and value. As long as the scratches don't cross Lincoln's face too harshly or obscure the main design, they won't hurt the value too much. Collectors tend to value originality, so it's important not to clean the coin or try to remove the scratches, as cleaning almost always lowers a coin's grade and value by stripping away the natural patina that took decades to form. In today's coin market, 2025, the typical value of a 1942 Lincoln wheat penny depends mainly on its condition and color tone. A heavily circulated example might sell for only 5 to 10 cents, while one in very fine condition, like yours, usually brings about 15 to 35 cents. The price may vary depending on how strong the details appear and whether the coin retains a nice even brown or red-brown tone. If the scratches are minor, your coin would likely be near the middle or higher end of that range. Uncirculated examples of the 1942 penny, especially those with bright original, red color and no marks, can be worth $2 to $5 in average mint state condition, and up to $30 or more for high-grade certified coins. Coins graded MS66, red or higher by PCGS or NGC, can occasionally reach prices above $100, but those are pristine coins stored in ideal conditions since the 1940s. Your coin, with visible circulation and scratches, falls into the more modest but collectible range. There are also some interesting die varieties known for the 1942 D wheat penny, such as repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the D appears doubled or slightly misaligned. If you look closely with a magnifying glass and see signs of doubling or overlapping on the mint mark, you might have a variety that carries a small premium, even in circulated grades. Some of these RPMs can be worth a few dollars if they are clearly visible and not heavily worn. The color of the coin can also influence its appeal. Many 1942 D pennies tone to shades of brown or deep chocolate color over time. If the coin has a consistent, natural dark brown color without spots or corrosion, it will look more attractive to collectors. On the other hand, if it shows areas of green oxidation or dark pitting, the value might drop slightly. Natural toning is considered part of the coin's charm, especially when it has been untouched for decades. Next up, the 1918 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny is an early and historically significant coin from the first decade of the Lincoln cent series. This particular coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which means it has no mint mark beneath the date. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, along with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust Liberty," and the date. 1918. The 1918 Philadelphia issue was produced in large numbers. Around 288 million coins were minted that year. So while it is not considered rare, its age and historical context make it an interesting collectible. This penny circulated during World War I, a time when the United States was actively involved in the war effort. That historical background adds sentimental value for many collectors, even if the coin itself is common in lower grades. Your coin is described as being in dirty condition with some scratches. That usually means the coin has been in circulation for a long time and has accumulated dirt, oxidation, and wear from years of handling. The surface may appear dark brown, grayish, or even black in spots. While this kind of natural dirt is common on old copper coins, it can affect the coin's appearance and market value. Cleaning the coin is not recommended because removing dirt or oxidation can damage the surface and significantly reduce collector value. Collectors prefer coins with natural, untouched patina even if they look a little dirty, because it proves the coin's authenticity and originality. In terms of condition, your coin likely falls into the good, G, to very good, VG range if most of the details are worn but still visible. Lincoln's portrait should still be identifiable, though smooth in many areas, and the wheat ears on the reverse may be faint. The lettering around the rim should still be readable. Since you mentioned scratches, that indicates additional surface damage, which can slightly lower the grade and value. In today's market, 2025, a 1918 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in dirty circulated condition with some scratches is generally worth between 10 and 25 cents. If the dirt is light and the coin's design details are still visible, it might reach closer to the higher end of that range. However, if the coin is heavily worn, very dirty, or shows deep scratches or corrosion, it would likely be closer to the lower end, around 10 to 15 cents. These values reflect the common nature of the 1918 Philadelphia issue, and the heavy wear most surviving examples show after more than a century. Coins from this era in higher grades can be worth more. A fine condition 1918 penny with clear wheat lines and sharper details may sell for $0.50 to $1, while extra fine examples can reach $2 to $3. Uncirculated, red-colored 1918 pennies certified by grading services such as PCGS or NGC can range anywhere from $30 to several $100s, depending on color and grade. Those coins are rare because few were preserved in mint condition, as most went into daily use during and after the war. It's also worth checking the coin carefully for any unusual minting errors, such as a doubled die, off-center strike, or lamination crack. While major errors from 1918 are rare, minor ones can exist, and even a small minting flaw could make your coin more interesting to collectors. However, post-mint scratches, bends, or damage do not increase value. They are simply signs of circulation wear. If your coin has an uneven or dirty surface but still shows strong detail, you can gently rinse it with clean distilled water and pat it dry with a soft cloth. Never scrub, rub, or use chemicals. This helps remove loose dirt without damaging the natural patina. Beyond that, it's best to leave the coin as is. Since collectors value originality far more than brightness or shine, to summarize, your 1918 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, in dirty condition with some scratches, holds modest value in today's market. It's generally worth around 10 to 25 cents, depending on how well the details are preserved under the dirt and how severe the scratches are. While it may not be valuable in terms of money, it's a true antique piece of American history. Over 100 years old and a witness to the World War I era. Even in worn and dirty condition, it remains a fascinating collectible and a reminder of how long these early Lincoln cents have survived in circulation.